our third online class. Now we are going to start our session. Today is our lesson number 3, chapter number 5, fraction. Okay. So the objectives of today's lesson are multiplicative inverse, division of fraction by whole number or by fraction, fraction of a fraction. These are the three objectives of today's lesson. Before starting today's lesson, first I'm taking the review of our previous lesson. What we have done in the previous lesson, we have done addition and subtraction of common fraction, product of a fraction by whole number, and product of two fractions. So, the very first objective of today's topic is multiplicative inverse. Okay. So, what is multiplicative inverse? If the product of two fractions is 1, then the two fractions are called multiplicative. Okay. Now, what is multiplicative inverse? If the product of two fractions is 1, then the two fractions are called multiplicative inverse of each other. What it's mean? When we have answer 1, so it's mean both fractions are multiplicative inverse to each other. Check this example. Here, this is example 5 over 3 dot 3 over 5. This dot represents multiplication. Dots mean multiplication. So 5 over 3 and 3 over 5 becomes 1. How? 3 ones are 3, 3 ones are 3. 5 ones are 5, 5 ones are 5. So the answer of multiplicative inverse always becomes the 1. So these two fractions are multiplicative inverse to each other. So what is multiplicative inverse? If the product of two fractions means when we multiply two fractions with each other is 1, then the two fractions are called multiplicative of each other. Then these two fractions are called multiplicative inverse of each other. Okay, now example of multiplicative inverse. We have an example of multiplicative inverse. 1, 3 over 4 multiply 2, 1 over 2. The question is in the form of mixed fraction. So what we have to do when we have a question in the form of mixed fraction, first we have to convert the question into, repeat the same step for the next fraction. The next fraction is 2 multiplied by 2 and then add 1. So 2 multiplied by 2 becomes 4 plus 1 equals to 5 over 2. So the mixed fraction is converted into common fraction. So the very first step to change the mixed fraction into common fraction is that multiply denominator with whole number and then add numerator. Your mixed fraction has been converted into common fraction. Now follow the next step. What is the next step? In multiplicative inverse, simply we have to multiply both the fractions with each other. If the answers become ones, so it's mean the fraction is known as multiplicative inverse fractions. Okay. 7 over 4 multiplied by 5 over 2. These all are multiplicative inverse? No, because here there is no any value multiplicative inverse to each other. These are simple values. 7 over 4, 5 over 2. No one will be cancelled. No one will be more simplified. So Simply what we have to do, multiply numerator with numerator and denominator with denominator. So 7 multiplied by 5 becomes 35 and 4 multiplied by 2 becomes 8. What I have told you in the previous class that if cancellation is possible, we will simplify it more. But if cancellation is not possible, we will stop there. This will be the answer. Okay. The answer is in the form of common fraction. But when the question is in the form of whole number, it's better to convert your answer also in the form of whole number. So how we convert it into whole number? Simply by long division method. So this becomes 4, 3 into 8. Okay. Let's take the review of multiplicative inverse. What is multiplicative inverse? If the product of two fractions is 1, then the two fractions are called multiplicative inverse of each other. Check this example for your more clarification. 5 over 3 and 3 over 5 both are inverse to each other. Which one inverse? Multiplicative inverse. This dot represent multiplication. So it is multiplicative inverse to each other. If the answer of any two fraction become 1, so that is called multiplicative inverse. Okay. Now division of a fraction by a whole number or by a fraction. So what is division of a fraction by whole number or by a fraction? Division is an inverse operation of multiplication. All of you know that division is an inverse operation of multiplication. How it is inverse operation of multiplication? Check this example. We have a question 4 over 5 divided by 2 over 3. The question is 4 over 5 divided by 2 over 3. The operator, which one operator is this? Division. So division operator always becomes into multiplication because division is an inverse operation of multiplication. So in step number 1, we convert this division into multiplication. When we convert it into multiplication, the value of fraction will be inverse. First, change the sign of division into multiplication. When you change the division into multiplication, then numerator becomes as a denominator and denominator becomes as a numerator. Simply we can say that convert the places of both values. 3 over 2. Here 2 over 3 becomes 3 over 2. It means the inverse of 2 over 3 is 3 over 2. Now the second step, numerator multiply by numerator and denominator multiply with denominator. But if the cancellation is possible in this step, so we will cancel it. How we will cancel it? By cross multiplication. Cross means what is the cross value of 4? The cross value of 4 is 2 and the cross value of 3 is 5. 3 and 5. Cancellation is not possible. But 4 and 2. Is cancellation is possible? Yes. 2 ones are 2. 2 twos are 4. What is left here? 2. What is left here? 2. You can simply do one more method you can use here is that first simply multiply numerator with numerator and denominator with denominator. How? 4, 3 becomes 12 and 5, 2 becomes 10. Now 12 upon 10. You can see that cancellation is easily possible. So 2 over 10, 2 6 are 12 and 2 5s are 10. If you want to do cancellation, you can do. Otherwise, you can also use long division method for the answer. So this is the division of fraction by whole number or by a fraction. Just remember one thing, that division is an inverse operation. It is necessary that we have to convert the division sign into multiplication. And when we change the division into multiplication, we will take the inverse. Inverse means if it is 2 over 3, now it's become 3 over 2. This is known as inverse operation. Okay. Now the next. These 2 points are very important. If the numerator of a fraction is 0, the fraction will become 0. The complete answer will become 0. When we have the numerator of a fraction is 0, the answer of the whole fractions become 0. And division by 0 has not been defined. If 0 is as a denominator, so the value of fraction has not been defined. Now, fraction of a fraction. So what is fraction of a fraction? Check this example for your better understanding. We have a question: 6, 3 over 8 of 1, 11 over 17. Here you can see there is no operator. It is off. So what is off? Multiply, divide, plus, minus. What do you think that what it represents? Off means multiplication. Off represents the sign of multiplication. So first we convert this off into multiply. In a very first step, change the signs of all the operators. So this off represents the sign of multiplication. Now the question is in the form of mixed fraction. 3, 6, 8. It means numerator, denominator, and whole number is present. So this fraction is known as mixed fraction. So what we have to do? First, convert the mixed fraction into common fraction. How we can convert it? Simple. Denominator, this is denominator. 8 represents denominator. Multiply denominator with whole number 6. 8 6 are 48. And then add numerator. 48 plus 3 becomes 51. 51 over 8. Denominator always remains same. There will be no change in the denominator. Off. Now convert this off into multiply. Now 17 multiply the 1 becomes 17 plus 11 becomes 28 over 17. Now the complete mixed fraction has been changed into common fraction. Now simple, if you want to do or to take the product of both numerator, it's up to you. Otherwise, if you want to do cancellation in this step, you can do cancellation. Now 17 ones are 17. Okay, what I said, cancellation in the form of cross multiplication. So what is the cross value of 51? The cross value of 51 is 17 and the cross value of 28 is 8. So you can simply cancel it. 17 1 and 51 3 times. So it has been cancelled. Now the next step, cross multiplication. What is the cross value of 8? The cross value of 8 is 28. So here we can take the table of 4. 4 twos are 8 and 4 sevens are 28. What is left in the numerator? 3 and 7. Multiply 3 with 7 becomes 21 and multiply 2 with 1 becomes 2. Now 21 over 2 cancellation is not possible because both are different values, not divisible by any one value. So you can do and use the long division method for your answer. Okay. Now the next one. Okay. Before starting our exercise question, first I would like to share the home task. Kindly note down the home task, please. Exercise 5.2, page number 90. Okay, do all the questions in your fair copy. I'm repeating this thing. Question number 1, part 5, 9, and 11. Question number 2, part 1, 6, and 8. It's better to take a screenshot if you are using mobile phone. Note down the home task, then we will start our lesson. I will share you this home task again later. Okay. We are starting our exercise 5.2. Question number 1, part 10. Okay. This is question number 1, part 10. 5 over 24 of 11 over 31. Of means multiply. As I have already told you in the previous slides, what of represents? Of represents the sign of multiplication. So this is a very simple question of multiplication already in the form of common fractions. So what we have to do? Simply we have to multiply the fractions with each other. So what is the very first step? First we have to multiply the numerator with the numerator and denominator with the denominator. So what is numerator in this question? First change off into multiplication and then start your solution. 5 and 11, 24 and 35. Check cross values. If cancellation is possible, do cancellation in the very first step or simplify your value. 5 ones are 5, 5 sevens are 35. So easily cancellation is possible. Now check the second value, 24 and 11. 24 and 11, the cancellation is not possible between these two values, so left it, leave it. Now what is left in the numerator? 1 multiplied by 11. And what is left in the denominator? 24 multiplied by 7, and it's become 11 multiplied 1 becomes 11, and 24 multiplied by 7 becomes 168. Okay, no need to convert your answer in the form of whole number. Why? Because question is already in the form of common fraction. So this is your answer. This is question number 1, part 10. Now, the next question, this is question number 1, part 7. Now, the question is 11 over 24 divided by 2, 13 over 36. Now, check the question. It is in the form of mixed fraction. So, what we have to do in the first step, convert the mixed fraction into common fraction, and then we will start our solution. So simply denominator multiply with whole number. 24 multiplied by 1 plus 11 becomes 35 over 24. Divide 36 multiplied by 2 and then add 13 becomes 85 over 36. Now it is completely converted into common fraction. So our first step has done. What is our second step? Change the sign of division into multiplication. Why? Because division is an inverse operation of multiplication. In the next step, we change the sign of division into multiplication. Simple. 35 over 24 multiply. When we convert it into multiply, we will take the inverse and the reciprocal of these two values. 85 over 36 will become 36 over 85. Now do the cancellation. 35 and 85. 5 sevens are 35 and 5 17s are 85. Now 24 and 36. 12 twos are 24 and 12 threes are 36. What is left in the numerator? 7 multiplied by 3 and denominator 2 multiplied by 17. 7 threes are 21 and 2 17s are 34. It's become your answer. No need to do long division in this question because denominator is greater than numerator. When this type of situation come into your answer, then this will be your answer. No need to do long division. Okay. Now the next question. Okay. We are going to take the start of question number 2 and the part 9. Question number 2. 5 1 over 2 of 4 1 over 2 minus 3 1 over 4 divided by 5 over 16 minus 5 whole number 3, or we can say 1 3 over 5. So the question is in the form of mixed fraction. Simply first you have to convert the question. We have converted the question in the form of common fraction. Of will become multiply, minus remains same, divide remains same. This mixed fraction becomes common fraction. Now the next step. Okay, here we will follow the DMAS rule. What is DMAS rule? First we have to solve division, then multiplication, then addition, and then subtraction. How many operators are there in this question? We have 3 operators: division, subtraction, and multiplication. So in step number 1, we will do division. In step number 2, we will do multiplication. And in step number 3, we will do subtraction. Because addition is not present here, so we will move towards the next operator, that is subtraction. So follow these steps to solve your question. First, convert the division into multiplication. When you convert division into multiplication, it's become 5 over 16 becomes 16 over 5. So cancellation is possible in this. So you can do 4 ones are 4, 4 fours are 16. And 13 5 cancellation is not possible, remains the same. Now this is also multiplication. 11 multiply 9 becomes 99. 2 multiplied by 2 becomes 4. Minus 13 fours are 52 and 1 5 becomes 5. Minus 8 over 5 is left. Now you can see here we have our operator subtraction. When we have addition and subtraction, what we have to do? I have already discussed in the previous lecture that what we have to do, we will simply take the LCM of all these three fractions, denominators 4, 5 and 5. So the LCM of all these three denominators is 20. Now you can simply take the LCM and find out the answer.